Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Yanzhu Lin. I graduated from Penn State a couple of years ago. So I've been working with Karen on this 3D printing project. So today I'm going to just talk about how the Wikipedia page on 3D printing can have some more information that we can add to. And so I would just okay. The Wikipedia page on the 3D printing highlights a lot of technological advancement on 3D printing, and it also include discussion about the impact of 3D printing on social and environmental changes. However, I would say that one thing that it misses is how 3D printing has also been used as a form of feminist activism to promote critical social justice consciousness. And for those you are not as familiar with 3D printing technology, it is an additive process of making three-dimensional objects from digital file. A 3D printed object like this animation show on the screen, it's achieved by laying down material layer by layer until the object is created. 3D printing technology has been around for now it's almost or a little bit over 40 years now. And however, it has only recently become really accessible and inexpensive enough for more and more artists and designers to be able to include it in their creative process. Oh, it's a little bit slow. Okay. So what 3D printing can do is that it can enable us to produce really complex shapes and allows us to think really differently with regard to how we incorporate different sources in designing our work. We can capture representation of object with 3D scanner and with a 3D scanning application, and we can manipulate them to enable new ways of seeing in computing software that has become much more user-friendly these days. And we can further materialize our imagination in tangible form with the access to a 3D printer. And it is really exciting to see the possibility to remix, collage, and reinvent physical objects. Now, although it seems that the 3D print technology has become much more accessible and affordable, and the photo that I took from last year at Penn State is how many 3D printer you have on campus, and I think it's really amazing. However, it's not I would say it's not surprising that 3D printing remains a really highly male-dominant field, within which only 13% of the workforce are female, according to a survey that was conducted in 2022. So with the precision that the 3D printer can achieve, the speed it allows us to materialize our ideas, and the access to make that happen, what leaves here is, well, what can we do with them as an artist or as a feminist activist process? How can we do with 3D printing? One question is, to begin, is, does 3D printing democratize manufacturing, or does it only replicate the existing material capitalism? And in the field of art, how might we create additivist act of resistance, which is a counter narrative with 3D printing technologies against social and material capitalism? And in the following, I will introduce one feminist artist who works with 3D printing as a form of a feminist activism. Issues of power, knowledge, and affect are central to a vast array of concerns that feminist artists, scholars, educators, and activists address. And the artist that I'm introducing to you is Moroshi Aliani. She is an Iranian-born US artist who considers her use of 3D sculpting processes of reconstructing Iranian cultural treasures as a form of feminist activism. In her art, what is showing here is the work titled She Who Sees the Unknown. And the other project that I'll be also share with you is Material Speculations Axis. Aliani uses open source software to create counter narratives against gender hierarchies and digital colonialism. In these two series that I will be showing to you, she also considered the process of exhibiting and archiving her works as a performative way to restore and redistribute forgotten or misinterpreted cultural historical artifacts. So what we are looking at here is her work, She Who Sees Unknown. Well, the 3D scanning and 3D printing has been used much more widely in creating replicas of fragile, rare, or ancient historical artifacts in a museum. These technologies are also used to help restore damaged cultural objects or monuments. And in Aliani's work, she takes advantage of this 3D printing technology power to kind of reconstruct and reconfigure and reproduce digital multiples to create her art project. Here, so She Who Sees the Unknown is a series of work that she created to recreate the ancient, from these ancient texts. For Aliani, the 3D sculpting process serves as a feminist and activist practice in her artistic process of reinterpretation or retelling the story of these ancient artifacts. So one example that you see here is a female figure. Her name is Huma. The image on the left is an original artifact from the ancient text. Huma, she is a jinn, which refers to supernatural creatures in Islamic culture and teaching. And Huma is a jinn or a dark goddess that brings fever to the human body. And female figures like Huma and many others have been represented as the monstrous others, the chaos, the dividing persona. And Aliani uses images from this ancient text to kind of reconstruct a 3D model of Huma. And she then 3D printing her sculpture and juxtapose it with the historically and socially constructed text and image of Huma. And this presentation allows the viewer to perceive them, to understand this female figure from a new perspective. In retelling these ancient mythical narratives, Aliani also creates an archive of the 3D models of these female figures, along with texts and artifacts associated with them, to investigate the effect of colonialism and patriarchy. Aliani considers her process of digital modeling, archiving, and performing these ancient female figures as a process that she called refiguring, a form of feminist and activist practice that confront digital colonialism, which refers to the unevenly distributed power that replicate the wide European-centered information and belief systems that is further reinforced by the technology empires. And the other art series that she did is Material Speculation, ISIS. Aliani uses 3D modeling software to reconstruct a series of cultural artifacts that were demolished by ISIS militants in 2014. Material speculation ISIS is a part of a project called The Download. It was a series of art projects commissioned by RISM that considers the act of downloading as a political act that can transform modern practice of producing, distributing, and archiving artworks. Aliani creates shareable, downloadable, printable 3D models of the destroyed cultural objects with a set of photographs of the originals. For example, Aliani uses a 3D modeling and 3D printer to recreate the image on the right. It's the statue of King Utha, the original of which was smashed at the Mosul Museum in 2014. She also made the 3D model of the statue of King Utha. Oh, you have that? Oh, oh, you are muted.
You
Okay.
continue. I'll add at the end. Okay.
Okay. So she also made this 3D model available for download through RISM. While being deprived of the original scale and the weather material, the 3D scanned and 3D printed artifacts in material speculations replicate the appearance of the original cultural objects. It's kind of like a process of resurrecting and redistributing the lost cultural object. The 3D printed technology serves as a tool of resistance against violence of cultural terrorism. The digital reconstruction and distribution of the cultural artifact destroyed in war is not only a process of repairing history, it's also a critique of the violence of reclaiming of cultural objects. So that's the two art project that Aliani did. So that's my presentation. Thank you.